So NatureScot, we have the beaver management framework, which includes our approaches to licensing, to mitigation, and now translocations as well. And so within that, we would look to, first of all, mitigate an issue. So we go out and, what is the issue that somebody is experiencing? If it's a simple case of, individual tree protection, that can be quite a simple thing to provide advice and to support people to do. There are also issues around sort of beaver dams, and in some places that can impact either on agriculture, on crop growing, on forestry and things. So first of all, we want to look at mitigation. So can we mitigate a problem? And that can include specific measures that NatureScot can advise and support with. So that would be, potentially individual tree protection where that's, important and necessary. Also potentially flow devices, sort of piping the water through the dam. And, culvert protection. There's a range of measures really that we would look at, and where that isn't appropriate, where that maybe wouldn't work, we would then look to the licensing approach. And so that would be licensing interventions that otherwise would be illegal because of the species protection. So dam removal is one of those that we would look at. There's also removal of the beavers through either trapping or lethal control also. So in order to meet the threshold for licensing approaches, we would have to go through the 3 licensing tests. And so the first one would be, is there actually an issue that should be mitigated and needs to be licensed for? So a legitimate problem is the first one. The second is to look at, are there any satisfactory alternatives? So that's where mitigation comes in. Can we actually mitigate this problem rather than license for it? And then the third is to look at the conservation implications for the species as a whole. And, is the conservation status going to remain favourable? So that's, how we would approach mitigation and licensing. On a wider scale, it's quite important to bear in mind that, what is impact and what is just change. And I think, sometimes we see beaver impacts and you might see a woodland and they've created a dam, but that actually becomes, a valuable habitat of its own. So I think we have to bear that in mind when we think about mitigation. In terms of support that's available, the first thing really is to get in touch with NatureScot. So go to either our website or beavers@nature.scot is the best way to contact us. From there, we kind of look at what issues individuals are facing and what is sort of relevant to them. We would provide advice on the best steps, and that could involve, installation of specific mitigation techniques or potentially licensing as well, depending on the issue that they're facing. And I think I said before, mitigation scheme ideally is to deal with public interest, and so that's kind of where we try and focus our efforts.